Yo, Swahili Nation, One Africa. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me today. If you're joining right now, please let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. Yeah, just let me know down in the comment section. I think it's good if we start this way. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. If it's your first time to come here today, this is One Africa Forum, and this is season 2. We had season 1. I think like maybe 1 month or 2 months ago, and this is season 2. So welcome. This is your home, and if you're new, you don't have to feel like Swahili Nation is somewhere that you're not supposed to be. No, this is your place. This is your home, and you guys you're not Swahili Nation fans. You guys are Swahili Nation family. We family. So family, we communicate, right? Family, we talk, we share. So let me know in the comment section where you're watching from, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and feel free to use Super Chat to support what we are doing right here in Swahili Nation. But all in all, it's good to see everybody. And today we're just going to chat a little bit here with everybody. And let me shout out the countries that are already here in the comment section. Well, we have... it's kind of hard to recognize this flag. It's very small. I don't know if this is Algeria or where's that. But we have Houston, Texas, proud Ethiopian origin. Shout out to you. We have Ethiopian in the house. A lot of Ethiopian in the house right here. I love you too, guys. I have a special heart for Ethiopia. So Ethiopia in the house, man. Come on, let me know where you're watching from. We have South Korea right here. Wow, we have Asali in the house. Asali, dang, it's been a while. We have Asali in the house. Wow, we have Sudan. Sudan in the house. Man, come on, look at that now. Isn't it this One Africa right now? We have even Asali Korea in the house. Guys, Asali, she's in the chat. Wow. Well... What else do we have? Come on, let me know where you guys are watching from. All right, because I wanna see where you guys are watching from, and it's gonna be amazing. Myself, I'm in South Korea right here. Asali present, yes, Asali represent. You guys, if you've seen a lot of reaction that I've done with this one Korean girl, that is Asali. So she is in the house, she's one of the Swahili Nation family as well, even though we're not working together here. No, Sadek is in the house. Sadek is saying, welcome, Asali. Yes, we have Virginia, Alexandra region, Ethiopia. Man, look at that. So much love from Ethiopia. And then somebody will be like, oh, why are you talking so much about Ethiopia? Come on, look at this love. I cannot help myself talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we have Joseph right here from Ethiopia. Amazing. You guys feel free, as you're shouting your countries in the comment section, feel free to share the topics that you would like us to talk about in One Africa, because let me show you right here. Yes, what topics do you want us to talk about? So feel free to share in the comment section. But in this case, guys, you're gonna need to leave your comments in the not in the live chat, but if you leave in the live chat, but also you can leave in the real comment, because I want to be able to go back later on and to see what you guys are sharing, so that we may talk about. So yeah, you can let us know in the comment section, because this is not about me. All right, what we are doing right here, this is One Africa Forum, and you guys, me, and everybody in Africa will represent Africa. We're one together. One Africa. So there's a lot of things that you guys might have ideas, you guys might have opinions. So always feel free to reach out you can let us know through Twitter. If you go to Twitter, we're using One Swahili Nation, or my personal Mika Chavala, or Instagram, or here on YouTube. Always you can share your idea. Yeah, we have a lot of Ethiopia in the house. We need StreamYard link to discuss face-to-face sometimes. Yes, definitely. So usually I lay down the foundation a little bit of the topic, and then at the end I share the link for you guys to come and join to share. So even today, guys, after laying down a little bit of foundation, I will share the link in the comment section so you guys can come and you can share your ideas, and we can talk about Africa, one Africa. That's why we're here, and that's what is connecting us. And it's just so important to talk about it, you know? Yeah, so we have Ethiopia in the house. Guys, let me know where you're watching from if you're joining right now. The colors of the green, the gold, and the red. Oh, yes, I remember that. Yes, so much love, so much love. One Africa, it's time to unite Africa. Yes, it is time. You know, there's this one quote, you guys, I believe you know, they always ask, if it is not you, then who? And if it is not now, when? It's one of the very popular motivational, you know, quotes, and I think it's very important because we can think about this right now, like for you and me. If it is not you, or if it's not me, then who is gonna do it, right? A lot of time we want to see changes. A lot of time we we complain. I think, you know, we're really good at complaining. Like, we know how to complain, but imagine if we channel that energy from complaining to actually do something. So if it is not you, who is gonna do it? And if it is not now, when are we gonna do it? So if we need changes and if we need the unity, it's not about tomorrow, it's not about 2 minutes later, it's about right now. And it's not about who is gonna do it for me. No, it's not about that. It's about you. You are gonna do it. How are you gonna do it? You know, it's amazing. Today, one of my friend that actually, you know, he was here yesterday on the live stream. Ebenezer, he shared with me something about what is this? Telegram. I think Telegram is really popular in Ethiopia, and he started something like live stream to talk about, you know, unity and love and everything. And so, you guys, if you have some time, you can check that out as well. I think that is an amazing, because we need more Africans. We need more people who will actually stand and talk about it. Will stand and share about it, and just have communication, because, you know, the more we talk about it, the more our brains, the more we open, the more we understand, the more like we become familiar with this thing called one Africa, called love, called unity, called peace. Like, we become familiar. So we need more people who they're gonna talk about this, right, and share. And even today, you guys will have an opportunity to actually come and to share your ideas as well. So today, what I want to share a little bit before allowing you guys to come, well, if you guys have seen the reaction I've done today of this one artist from Rwanda, Medi. He released a new song, and that song really touched me in the different levels, and I think most of you guys will love it as well. And it's just because of how it shows the diversity or in Africa. Like, you know, I spoke about this yesterday, how much Africa we are blessed with diversity of culture and you know, different languages and different people. And one thing came to my mind, that you know, when you're blessed, all right, every time when you're blessed with something, it always come with challenges, right? If you want to have a lot of money, when you get money, then it's going to come with a lot of challenges, because you always want to you always want to make sure that you're not losing, but you're gaining, right? So you're never going to be satisfied. Somehow, of course, you're going to be afraid that maybe I might lose this money. Or let's say you invest in the stock, you know, stock is going really down, and you know, you're losing your mind, right? So your plan or your goal is to actually get that money. Actually, it happened to me. I invested somehow, and right now stock is going down, so I'm kind of freaking out. But but my point is, when you are blessed with something special, there's always a lot of challenges. And when you look at Africa, the continent of Africa, we are blessed with so many things. I don't even want to talk about minerals and all those kind of things, because are common and normal, like everybody talks about it. But I want to talk about diversity, which, like, we are blessed with so much diversity, and that diversity comes with a lot of challenges, and so many challenges that you guys, you know, and some of them even we're not even aware with them. Diversity that we have in Africa, it's supposed to, you know, it's supposed to be a blessing. It's supposed to be a cause of blessings, because having diversity of this culture, of this language, of these people, is supposed to bring blessings, you know, in our nation and in the continent. But that's not what it does, you know, most of the time. you find that's what it brings. At the same time, it brings a lot of challenges and a lot of things that uh, it's not even worthy like to see and happening in our continent. And that's why we always remind one another that unity, it's so important, because there's so many things that we can achieve as African if we are united. If we're united. So right now, guys, I'm gonna share the link here in the comment section, just a little quick. Because yesterday I realized that I spoke a lot at the beginning, and we didn't have enough time, to share some other people. And I think a lot of people, they had some ideas and they wanted to share. So the link that I share in the comment section, guys, this is, if you want to join the live stream, you come and join and have conversation. This is very important. It's very important. I see, when I look at Africa, I see the need. I see the need of, be united. I see the need of become one. I spoke about this yesterday. The diversity that we have in our countries, in our continent, it's actually, even when you look at different countries, like when you look at one country of another, you will see that this country, it has this certain of strength. This country has this certain of strength. That country has this certain of strength. And what happens is, when we come together and join together, we can actually share this a huge blessings that we have. Like, if you have this, then you can share with me. If I have this, then I can share with you. And at the end of the day, we'll make progress, because that's how you make progress. You cannot make progress if you're working alone. If you're working alone, you're gonna get tired. If you're working alone, imagine if I'm just doing this alone. Imagine if I'm just doing this alone, then I'm gonna get tired of this, right? The beauty of Swahili Nation is because there are so many people, there's so many Swahili Nation family behind the scene who are actually constantly sharing ideas, constantly commenting, constantly join, constantly say this and that. And that's what makes the Swahili Nation special, because of you guys, because of everybody around it, right? So when you look at individualism, and when you look at that oneness, if the only thing you care, it's about you, and it's about me, and it's about my country, and it's about my people, then you're not seeing it in a bigger picture. And that's why I have this question for you guys. What does it mean for you to be an African? I think this is a very important question to ask ourselves. What does it mean? Because I believe there are a lot of people who are struggling with their identity as an African, because there's so much noise outside that telling us about Africa. Everything is telling us something negative, something bad about Africa. If you've traveled the world, then you see how, like, the image of Africa, how people see Africa, how people talk about Africa. So there's a huge problem and a huge crisis, and that is the identity as an African. Who we are as an African. What does it mean for me to be an African? What does it mean for you to be an African? Because all these noises that you see, for example, one of the noises that we have always been listening is that Africa is the poorest continent in the world. The most poor people in the world are coming from Africa. And we have been hearing that forever, since the beginning of the time. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, I feel like this negativity, it actually came to our mind, and it's actually it's contagious. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's taking over our mind, and the only thing we believe is that, we are poor. And we are poor. No matter what we do, that's where we're gonna be. So there's a huge crisis in our identity. And there's so many different roles people played. For example, we can talk about colonialism. It played a big part for us to be where we are today. But also today, what I really want to focus on, or what I really want to talk about, is what's going on inside. What is going on inside? What is going on in our mind? Are we struggling with our identity as an African? Do I think of myself less than any other race out there? Do I think of myself lesser than anyone out there? Is that how I see myself when I look myself at the mirror? When I look at my skin, that, oh, this is black. Do I think about it lesser than that? Am I not proud of who I am? Am I not proud of my race? Am I not proud of my country? Like, do I even feel shy sometimes to say that I'm from Africa? What does it mean for you to be an African? This is a good question. We have we have someone here, African, on the live stream. Hey, what's up, African?
Hey, hey, my brother.
Hey, my brother, what's up, man? It's good to have you.
Not much, not much. I'm so glad that I'm on your show.
Yeah, man, it's a privilege to have you, man, here. I'm so glad that you're here.
Oh, thank you so much to promoting Ethiopia. Also, talking about African United.
Yes,
It's
yes, yes,
really
yes.
nice of you,
Mm,
and we really proud of you and more other YouTubers too. Some other Africans. I think
yeah,
the YouTubers work hard more than the politicians about
yes.
African United.
Mm,
And even my English is not good. It's just I'm trying to say, as generally as African, we have a lot of resource and we have a lot of people.
mm,
Uh, until I learned about Africa more is on YouTube. I was not know that Africa's beautiful, especially I was not
mm.
know West Africa that beautiful. Ghana, what the
Yeah,
Maya video show us a lot,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
and
I
we
love that
really,
guy.
yeah, our problem is just this tribalism. This
Yeah.
tribalism will destroy Africa. Otherwise, we have everything if we can work together.
Mm,
I
mm.
am Pan Africanist since I was very little, but I have some reasons that I know. Like I really like African United stuff. I'm
Yeah.
Ethiopian, but now the situation in my country, I don't want to put you in a politics just because I have to say I know you know the situation,
Yes, yes, yes.
but when you thinking about Africa, but specifically when you attack on back home, like now my
Mm,
tribe is active genocide. It's been 4 years, but
mm,
Westerners, humanitarians, they don't give attention because they not get any political benefit. Even
mm.
African Union never give attention. I was
Yeah.
trying to just um, yeah, just to have you general knowledge that I am from Amhara tribe, but I am thinking as Ethiopian, I am thinking more African, not
Yes.
only African, thinking about all Black, Caribbean. If we
Mm,
be united, we can do a lot of things and we can have a better future.
mm.
But it's first starting solve our problem as country. We are in a problem, you know that. Especially my
Mm,
tribe is active genocide. No one is to speak about that tribe. It's
mm,
like everyone is killing every region, and also now the war is attacking specifically that tribe. It
mm.
is so sad, but it is. Anyway, it will be. Hopefully, it will be solved, and then if we
Yes.
avoiding this tribalism thing, hopefully Africa will be better.
Mm.
But I don't know why. I see a lot of social media. Even Nigeria has a problem. Other country has a problem. This is a
Yeah.
tribe thing.
Uh,
That's we have to avoid. At least our age, our generation, try and fix this for future. Our kids have just as one united Africa.
mm, mm, mm. That's
Uh,
so good, brother. That's so good. Thank you so much for sharing.
thank you, my brother, to give me a chance and. I'm not, I don't I was planning to think talking a lot, but this is
Yeah.
my first time. I'm a little bit nervous and
Oh,
my English is not good. For next time when you have a big topic, I will participating.
yeah. You did pretty good, by the way. I didn't even realize that you're numbers. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion, man. That's amazing.
Thank you, my brother. Bye.
God bless. God bless. Have a good day. All right, we have Nathaniel Milkesa right here. Hi, where are you calling from? Oh, it disappeared already. Um, Man, I really love what African, that was the name portrayed on the screen. He spoke. He spoke a little bit about, he said tribalism it's gonna kill us. And I've spoken about that in the first season of One Africa, and I think that's um I'll share with you guys one thing that the first president of Tanzania, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, did. Because when colonists came to, to our countries, our countries back in the days, what they did is they taught us their languages, right? They taught us English. We had to use English, and then a lot of African countries right now that are using English as an official language, since the time of colonialism. But what Julius Kambarage Nyerere did, the first president of Tanzania, what he did is, in Tanzania, we have 121 different tribes. That means 121 different languages. So that's why we're talking. That's why that like everybody was speaking with different languages, right? But what he did, he actually pretty much he banned English. He said, you know what? No, this is foreign language. We're not gonna do that. So what he did is he he actually organized like the whole country, all these 121 different tribes to speak the same language. So that's when we had that was kind of like the beginning of Swahili. Swahili is kind of like the combination of different languages. Like it has like some Arabic, it has like Bantu language, a huge percent of Bantu language, and other foreign language, and then you have Swahili. And because of that, it was actually like pretty much compulsory for every single Tanzanian to learn Swahili at school, and everybody was able to speak Swahili. Like if I'm coming from this region, I have my own tribe language, but then I have Swahili language as a mother tongue. So right now in Tanzania, like everybody can speak Swahili, and they can speak another language, like maybe tribe language, but also they can speak English for those who went to school, right? So we're speaking like three different languages. Personally too, tribe, I didn't really grow up in the city, so I didn't really learn my language. But why I'm saying this, it was one of the reasons why Tanzania, it never really struggled with tribalism. And that was because of the common language, because when you have a common language, actually it unites people. But it might be a different case in different countries, because some of the countries, they have different languages, and they don't really have the common language that unite everybody together. Because if you speak different from me, like just imagine if you speak different language from me and you don't understand my language and I don't understand your language, what happens is you're going to try to find someone who speaks like you, because as a human being, we're craving for communication. I want to talk to somebody. I want to share with somebody. And if I cannot communicate with you, I'll try to find somebody. Imagine you're joining this live stream right now and you cannot understand English. What will happen is you just leave. You're like, I don't understand this. You leave. So we are not connecting. Right? And so in so many countries in Africa, I think this is one of the struggle that we are having. When you're having different different tribe languages, it actually kind of like create a barrier between one person and another if we don't have the common language that we can speak with one another. And that's why there's this run of making Swahili to be the most, to be the common language in Africa, since so many countries, being Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, Kenya, some part of Zambia. Even the language is almost similar with Swahili, and Comoros, and even Somalia. Some part of Somalia people speak Swahili. In Ethiopia, actually Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, there are this institute that is teaching Swahili as well. In South Africa right now, they're learning Swahili in the class, and because a lot of people, they actually say there's a need for us to have a common language, because if you have the African language that you can share things together, you can speak with one another, what happens is it's our language. It's our language. What do you guys remember the story of Tower of Babel? The Tower of Babel, the whole world, they were speaking common language. They had the same language. They were united. They were one, and they started to build a tower because they wanted to reach to God. So they started to build a tower. This story, it's a real story. They started to build tower, and God from heaven, he looked down on it and he was like, you know what? These guys right here, they're going to actually come to me if I'm not going to do anything. So they were talking in heaven. They were like, you know what? We have to do something so that these guys, they may not come all the way where we are. So what God did, he confused their languages. And that, it was the beginning of different languages. So he confused the language. If I'm building this tower and I want the brook. I was like, hey, can you give me a brook? Can you give me a water? But those people, they hear like, oh, can you give me food? Instead of bringing water, they brought food. Instead of bringing cement, they brought like water. You know what I'm saying? So they were not able to communicate. Eventually, they couldn't really build the tower because they were speaking different languages. This is such a good example of what we need in Africa. So talking about this, it will take a long time, right? It's not something that it can happen just right away. Everybody's speaking a common language and we're good. But the question is, well, what can we do right now? Because we need to be united right now. We need oneness right now. So regardless of our different languages, whether I understand you or I don't understand you, that it shouldn't be the reason for me to see you different. It shouldn't be a reason for me to look at you and to be like, you know what, you're not one of us because you're speaking different language. It shouldn't be a reason for that. If we are speaking two different languages, I'm speaking Swahili, you're speaking something else, it shouldn't be a reason to divide. It shouldn't be a reason to cause us to be in trouble. It shouldn't be a reason. So having tribes in Africa, it's a blessing because it's our norms, it's our culture, it's something that we grew up, it's something that we understand, but it shouldn't be a reason. It shouldn't be a reason to separate us. It shouldn't be a reason to cause us fight with one another. The fights begin when I think that I'm better than you, when I think that my tribe is better than you, when I think that my country, believe it or not, is better than yours. When I think like that, that's where the trouble begins. That's where the misunderstanding begins. Guys, I share the link in the comment section. You can come join me if you want to share our opinion. If you have anything that you want to add to what we're talking about, feel free to come and to join us right now and to share your opinion. Let me go through the comments. We don't have to think that way because everybody has been created uniquely. You have been created uniquely. I've been created uniquely. We are not the same because we have special. You are special on your own way. I am special on my own way. Well, guys, it doesn't matter. This guy, it doesn't matter. This person, he looks, another person might be look dumb. He looks dumb. He looks like, even that person, a beggar on the street, he or she has been created uniquely and she has something special. He has something special that you don't have. The problem begins when we start looking down on one another. You know what? I went to university, you didn't go. You know what? I have a lot of money, you don't have. The problem begins when we start looking each other, when you look down on your neighbor, when you look down on your brother. Man, we all African. That's what unites us together. That's our identity. And believe me or not, whether you know it or you don't know, you have something special that I don't have. And I have something special that you don't have. And that's why we need each other. We need one another, man. We need one another. I need you. Whether I want it, I believe it or not, I need you. You need me. Whether you want it, you believe or not. We need each other. And that's why we are in the same country. That's why we're created like this. That's why we're in this world together, because we need one another. You need your brother and sister. And African countries, we have to know that we need one another. And I really hope our leaders, I really hope from the family, like from the ground level family, I hope we understand that. I hope Africa wakes up right now. Like, I hope we wake up right now and realize that, you know what, I need my brother and sister. Because imagine if you know, if you believe and if you know that I need you, you're not gonna kill your neighbor. You're not gonna hate them. You're not gonna do that. You ain't gonna do that because you need them and they need you. You might be saying that, you know what, I have everything, I got everything figured out. What do I need? Man, come on, man. Come on. There's a reason why we're here. Why God, he didn't create like different, like 7 billion different worlds and put you in your own world somewhere there. Put us in the same world because we need one another. And I feel like, you know, God is right there just watching us and be like, you know what, you're struggling because of your own stupidity. Why you're not cooperating with one another? Why you're not collaborating with one another? Why you're not loving with one another? Why you look down on your neighbor? Why you look high of yourself and look down on somebody else? We are not supposed to do that. That's when all these troubles begin, you know? And we have to change that. We have to change our mindset. We have to change our softwares. It's like, man, like, let me talk to a little bit to diaspora as well. If you're diaspora and you're living outside of Africa, diaspora, sometimes we have issues also. Simply because I've lived abroad, I live in another country, I feel like, you know what, I am the best. When I go to Africa, I feel like, you know what, I lived outside. We have that issue too, diaspora. We do have, I include myself, we do have that. That doesn't make you special. It just makes you someone who do not really understand your identity. Because it doesn't matter whether you're living in Africa or somewhere else, but your identity, who you are, will never change. That's who you are. You guys are special. I am special in my own way. You are special in your own. Even that person that you hate the most, that person that you don't even want to talk to, they have something special. And guess what? God loves them. And that's what really humbling me, man. That's really what humbling me. Every time that someone has done maybe something really bad to me, someone has done really ugly something to someone else, when I look at them, I'm always reminded that, no, it doesn't matter how much I'm frustrated, but God loved that person as much as he loves me. It's crazy. It's really crazy. It's unconditional love. It's unconditional love. But we need that in our software. We need that in this software to understand that, because there are so many people, there's so many nations, there's so many people, they want us to be divided. They don't want us to be one. Do you know the number in Africa? Let me be precise, all right? Let me be precise. I don't want to say something that is not right. I want to be precise. Population of Africa. I'm going to be precise with even a decimal point. 1.216 billion. Oh, this is what 2000. Okay, it was 2016. They don't have the recent. Well, what the heck? Anyways, 1.216 billion. The population of Africa by 2016. Do you know that Africa is actually the leading continent of having the youngest population in the world? Oh, actually 1.379 yeah, 1.379 something. So approximation is 1.4 billion people. And what is the population of the young people in Africa? Because it's the leading continent with a lot of young people. Africa. A lot. Let me tell you something. Where I'm living right now, for example, Asian countries, especially Japan and Korea, the population of old people is a lot than young people, because people, they're not getting married because of the hardship of life, because of stress, because of like the expenses in life. So they decide not to get married and not to have kids, because there's so many reasons why they decide to have that. And so what happens right now when you go to Japan, there's just a bunch of old people. Here in Korea, the same thing, they're struggling. And when you look at the research, it says that by 2025, by 2025, so in Africa, 60% of the population is young people. Guys, 60% of 1.4 billion people in Africa, 60%, it's young people. It's like me and you. Okay, maybe there are old people watching here, but 60% is young people. Guys, do you know what it means? Do you know what it means? That's manpower right there. Leading continent is Africa. 60%, guys, only 40% is old people. And you know, in Africa, we don't have the high life expectancy. It's just like 40, 50, 60. If you're really blessed 70, you die at that age. But 60% is young people. Now you know why a lot of people there, they don't want us to be united. They don't want us to be one, because that is scary to the world. It's scary. Do you know this 60% of young people, if they're determined, they know who they are. What does it mean for you to be an African? If you know who I am as an African, do you know that 60%, how many great things we can do in our continent? Do you know how we can transform our nations? Do you know how we can transform, man, the future of Africa? Do you know what we can do, man? Do you know what we can do with that power? Why don't we use things that can unite us together and just be blind to things that they are separating us? Because it's not worth it. 60% of African population is young people, and yet it's the poorest continent in the world. We have responsibility to do, guys. We gotta be responsible. We have to be responsible, man. We have responsibility to do. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, somebody. We have responsibility to do. We have responsibility to do. I'm calling upon every young generation out there, man. We have responsibility to do. 60% of Africa, man. Where are you at, guys? Where are you at? What are you doing? Where are you at? Are you running away from Africa? Where are you at? Are you sleeping? It's a time to wake up, man. 60% of young people, you know how many things we can do? One of the problems that we used to have, and I think these days is kind of like, but we still have in so many countries, is that a lot of our leaders are old. Like a lot of people who are in the government, it's old people. You know what I'm saying? There's different case. For example, you guys in Ethiopia, you have young, prime minister. It's different case in other places, but man, a lot of leaders who are there, like they're old, right? We need that wisdom. I'm not saying that we don't. We need that wisdom. But my point is, we need young people in the government as well. 60%. We need young people in the government, and we need the old people as well in the government, because they need to be there to check us out. That, you know what? Where you're going is not right. The eyes of wisdom. They have that wisdom to guide us, to lead us, because this is Joshua generation. The Moses generation has gone. Right now it's Joshua generation. 60%, man, young generation. Man. Africa, come on, man. This 60%, let me tell you this, guys. I think we're going to come here, we're going to talk about economy another day. We're going to talk about economy. We need to transform, man. Opportunities are in Africa. We can do something. Somebody mentioned about Wodemai. Wodemai is one of the guys that, even myself, man, I watch his video and I've done a lot of reaction to his video because of what he does, man. It's so beautiful. And when you follow him and when you see what he's doing, people he meets, people he interviews, you'll understand that there's actually young Africans out there who are doing an amazing work for the society, man. Young Africans who are doing entrepreneurship. And that's what we need to focus on, because if we want to transform our continent in the coming few years, man, we need to invest and we need to do it. Guys, I need somebody to help me to talk. There's a link in the comment section. You can join me, guys, and share your opinion. And yeah, so we need that. I think we'll come back and talk about that, about everything. But I'm really curious to know, what is Africa for you? Even if you cannot join this live stream, please let me know. Let me know in the comment section right now. What does Africa mean to you? What does it mean to you? And we have someone here. All right. Whoever that you wanna, Yizez Teferi, I think you need to connect with your mic and camera before you can. Yeah, before you come. I cannot add you here because I guess device not connected. It's not connected. Yeah, it's not connected. So the link I share there, guys. You can you can come and share your opinion as well. The good thing about this live stream, you can have even 6 people on the chat. I love you too, man. I love you too. Oh my goodness, look at this, my brother Sadek.
How are you?
And you have no idea how much I wanted you to be here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your voice, I think, is too low. Hello?
Okay.
What now?
Hello?
How about now?
Oh, yes, I can hear you in a very little voice, though. Let me try to put it in my... Hello?
Okay, how about now?
Okay, I can hear you now. Beautiful.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to...
Hello? Hello, Brother Sadeki?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Did I go out in between, or is it like...
Yeah, you went out in between.
Okay. So I just wanted to comment on how to engage with each other, because a friend of us has already mentioned something about tribalism and the narratives of the oppressor and the oppressed. and
mm,
how it's tearing us apart.
mm,
Um, so I think the key thing is about the education,
mm,
the education, and somebody also talked about generations, the future
mm,
generation, because
mm,
like you said, we have a lot of potential in the young people, but if the young is already intoxicated with hate and revenge, we cannot
mm.
go on. So
Yeah.
uh, the bigger picture, we cannot achieve it without actually having a good
Mm,
education. And it
mm,
starts with knowing each other, knowing each other's culture.
mm,
There's the cultural competence continuum, which I've
mm,
read about, and it starts with ignorance. Ignorance about what others think, ignorance
mm,
about what others are made up of, um,
mm,
ignorance about each other's languages, ignorance
mm,
about what the psych and what the sociological
mm,
and psychosocial aspect of how people think and how what their culture is and so on. So
mm.
there's the sense that you are already intoxicated by your parents, or
Yeah.
the people that tell you about something, and you suddenly hate about something that you don't know. Okay,
Mm, mm.
so uh, the first thing is about knowing about each other.
Yeah.
So this platform is where we discuss about these things, and you are doing a tremendous job in at least
Mm.
making us know each other. So
Yes.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who never knew a thing or two about Ethiopia, and then you made them know about it, and then
Mm,
through this platform we are also knowing about Tanzania. We are also knowing
mm,
about some other countries, but
mm,
also
mm,
when a lot of people are suggesting different cultural music and so on into your
mm,
channel,
mm.
uh, we are also knowing each other within Ethiopia. It's you're
Yes. Yeah.
creating a platform where
Mm,
we appreciate each other because somebody else is appreciating everything about Ethiopia, and how can
yeah.
we not appreciate each other within
Mm,
Ethiopia?
mm.
So
So good.
that's the start. But then you have to go even further.
Mm,
Knowing about somebody is not just about knowing the cultural music. It's not only about the knowing the language, but it's also about how each person was raised.
mm,
All the narratives and all the perspectives are related to how you are brought up as a child, and you
mm.
may have faced different experiences, and that could uh, it could be positive and it could be negative. And
Yeah.
somebody was talking about not about trying to prevent judgment. God
Mm.
doesn't want us to judge each other, and
Yes.
certainly you know so whatever happened, and whichever political side we choose on, whichever narratives we tend to believe in, it's all related to how we are brought up as a child, and we
Mm,
should understand that, and it takes time to
mm.
actually just change that narrative, and
Yeah.
um, and this is where we have to be careful, because there are there is the media and there are the westerners which always try to uh, you know um, create rifts among us, and
Mm,
they capitalize on those narratives, and
yeah.
then they make us feel like we should not trust each other. So
Mm,
uh, that's where we have to be careful. We have to
mm,
discuss with each other before we actually discuss with other,
yeah.
external, beings, because they really don't know anything
Mm,
about us. They really don't know about us.
yes.
So it's our job to
Mm,
actually take the initiative to actually talk to each other and understand each other. Somebody
mm,
you were saying something like, I think yesterday, if
mm,
somebody talks bad about you, then
mm,
the first thing that we should do is self-reflect, right? Okay, what
mm,
what did I do to make that person unhappy? You know, that's the first thing that you should ask yourself. And then you can try to change that. Of course, you may not have an intent to hurt that somebody, but then you should always reflect in saying, okay, that somebody was brought up in a different scenario, in a different culture, and maybe I hurt him because there's the narrative that he cannot change suddenly. So, but through engagement and through when you build trust, then you start thinking about the other person. So, and that's what we have to inculcate in the educational system. What happened also in Ethiopia and in other, maybe most probably in other African countries, is that, you know, we just imported an educational system from the Westerners, and we didn't focus on those cultural rich mechanisms where we solve conflicts, and there's a rich culture of both religious and cultural and traditional methods of resolving conflict and addressing differences in diversity. You know, it's not new to have conflicts in Africa, even before the colonizers. I'm sure there were conflicts, you know, conflicts on resources like water. You need water for your cattle and so on, and of course you will have some conflict with your neighbor, but then there is always a cultural method of resolving things. For example, in Ethiopia, even when somebody um, kills may murder your family member, the whole community would not kill each other. There is a method where you would pay that date. There is a method where there is a reconciliation and how to make it better. So, but they make us believe that Westerners, they make us believe that they are the solution for our problems, when we actually, without actually knowing our culture and everything. So that's where we need to teach our kids, even within our family, how to solve a problem. How do, when brother and sister make a fight, how do they solve it? So I think that's where we need to work on. I know I've made it long, but I was not sure how to the network might not be reliable, so I wanted to use the opportunity. Thank you.
Hey, Sadek, I love that, man. I wish you continue to talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking my notes here. Can you talk a little bit longer? My brother,
maybe you can comment on some of the key points, and then
definitely, man. There's a few things that they mentioned. First of all, shout out to one of brother here. I see donated the live chats. I really appreciate that. I'll be coming to that comment afterwards. Say learn about each other. I think that was very important. Point you mentioned about learning about each other. When you were sharing, what I was thinking is that it's so hard. It's so hard. Like, it's so hard that, let's say you have, like, I am a parent, right? And we are in a nation of different culture, of different tribes, different languages, right? And I am teaching my kids to hate this tribe. I'm teaching my kids to hate this certain of people. It's so hard for me as a kid. If I grew up in that environment, knowing that that person is not, like, is less than me, knowing that that person is bad, it's so hard to change that narrative when I'm growing up, because as a kid, we trust our parents. We think our parents are heroes. We think our parents, they never make mistakes, right? We worship them in a way, you know what I'm saying? And so when you were sharing, I was actually thinking about that you spoke about, like, this, like, you made me think about where I am right now, that even racism is something that is taught. Like, you find little kids, they're doing a lot of actions of racism simply because that's what they heard from their parents. You know what I'm saying? And to change that, it's not easy to change all of a sudden. But you mentioned something about education that we need, like, we need to include in our education. We need to know, like, we need to be told about this. And when you grow up, let's say this is how I was raised. I was told to hate this kind of tribe or this kind of people. I was told to look down on them. When I grow up, I have a choice to make. And the choice to make is what you just mentioned, that I need to learn, I need to study, I need to get to know different people. Like, so we are in a position where we trust media more than we trust ourselves. For me, media is the second-hand information. You know what I'm saying? Media, it has to be a second-hand information for me to know something. You know what I'm saying? Because medias, they're always biased. You look at Western media, how they talk about Africa is different. It's biased. They don't even know. They're not there. Sometimes when you look as well to African media, maybe they might be based on in this one position, and they're actually not, looking on the both sides, because they have different preferences, right? The owners of those media, most of the time, they're in the government, right? So they cannot really be critical with the government, or they cannot really be fair sometimes. So the source of information that I need to depend on, it has to be my neighbor. It has to be me getting to know you, Sadeke, me getting to know this different tribe. If I heard things about this tribe or these people, I don't have to go to media and to search what is this. No, I can actually go there and experience and learn and study and ask. I think this is very important what you pointed out. And if we reach to that point of learning one another, of trying to understand one another, extending a grace that, what, I don't know, I want to know about you. All right, I don't know anything about white people, and I want to get to know about it. I don't know anything about this tribe, and I want to get to know about it. I think that would be the best point for us to begin a journey of being united, because it's hard to be united if we're not understanding one another. It's hard to be united if we're not aware with one another. So education, it's big thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah, I think the other thing, like I said, we have to be careful about that contamination of information from the external part, because what happens all the time is, the external, especially the Westerners, what they do is, even through the colonialism and now the neo-colonialism part, is what either they favor minorities or the oppressors, or like they tell you somebody is bigger than you, some tribe is bigger than you, or they tell you that, and they tell the minority groups that they are less than the others, so what that creates a narrative of the oppressor and the oppressed, so that creates a situation where we have to fight over abundant resources, and we have a sense of false insecurity, and there is a false sense of scarcity. So we feel we although there's abundant resources in each of our countries and also in Africa, there's an illusion of scarcity where we have to fight over it, but we fight, but the resource is still there. But when we wake up, then the resource is already gone because somebody already took it when we were fighting over that. So that's where we need to wake up. We need to embrace the cultural differences. I see lots of comments also. There is apprehension and there is a fear of unity. Of course, because somebody might feel that that tribe or that ethnic group might be diluted within that unity. That's the fear that we have to be aware of. Even in Ethiopia, when you talk about unity, there is always the fear that somebody would dilute you, and would dilute that culture, and one of the ethnic groups could be dominant over the other when you talk about unity and so on. So that's where we have to acknowledge that there is that fear, and we don't have to be drastic, and we don't have to be like it cannot happen overnight. It has to have its own natural progression, where we know about each other, and then we know about the grievances that we have about each other, whether that narrative is false or true. um, it doesn't matter. We are brought through that narrative, and we have
Yeah.
to get over it and say, okay, let's start a new narrative now. Okay, we may not agree about the previous history or the previous things, then but we can agree on where we want to go. Okay, from
Yes.
now on. Yeah, that's where we have to be careful. Thank you.
Wow. So, like, what do you have to say about the comment on the screen there?
Okay, I may not, I cannot see it because I'm in a different window. Can you read
Okay.
it to me? Can you read it
Is
to me?
Look, you have to first decolonize our mind by questioning
Oh,
all sort of unspoken assumptions of ourselves and our broader African community.
yeah, that's completely true. I think, yeah, it's a very good comment, but a
Mm.
very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's not easy,
Mm.
because all of us have been, even me talking about this thing. I know I've passed through an education system where
Mm.
you feel like you fit in more in the Western world than in Africa,
Yeah.
because uh, I'm a physician, and
Mm.
but I don't know anything about the traditional medicine that we have in
Yeah.
Ethiopia.
Mm.
That's the paradox. So I'm kind of colonized in a way, because
Mm.
I have to wait for the clinical trials, and the
Yeah.
all the medicine that comes from and the
Yeah.
vaccines and everything that comes from the US and so on. So
Mm.
I'm kind of colonized still.
Mm.
So, but I need to break free from it. But
Mm.
at least what we can do is, when
Yeah.
our kids are brought up, we inculcate some kind of curiosity about their own culture and their own thing. And what may happen is, there could be a new generation where uh, uh, who does a lot of research on their own indigenous knowledge and so on.
Mm.
And at least what I am trying to do with my fellow colleagues who have the same opinion as me is, at least we try to change the educational system, where
Mm.
there is, kind of a didactic approach, and
Mm.
the teacher is telling you whatever is supposed you are supposed to know, but rather,
Yeah.
the critical thinking, should be inserted in there, and
Mm.
it's intentional. What happens is, the Westerners are already progressing towards that
Mm.
part, where they can have a critical, they're using methods where there is a critical thinking. But when they come to us, when they teach us and so on, they don't want us to question that,
Yeah.
uh, so, but they have already progressed further from this kind of education. But
Mm.
we Africans are still waiting for teachers to tell us what knowledge is, and what. But while the knowledge is actually within us, and while
Mm.
we can question whatever is in the books, and we can write our own books, but we are still waiting for donations of books from elsewhere. All these
Mm.
things are
Mm.
something that we should think of.
Do you in this one? Thank you so much for sharing that. In this one comment that I just read for you, there's another follow-up comment, and it say, one assumption is we are in conflict more intensely than we actually are. Do you think we exaggerate our conflicts, or do you think it's a real issue? Hello.
Hello. Yeah, you were. It was breaking up. Can you repeat the question?
So the follow-up comment from the previous one, it says, one assumption is we are in conflict more intensely than we actually are. So my question is, do you think we are exaggerating the conflicts that we have in our countries in Africa, um, or we're really having those conflicts?
I feel like the conflict in our mind and within ourselves is more than what is actually on the ground, I would say, because um, had I mean, we are kind of helped by our religion and our kind of the indigenous knowledge and the indigenous culture somehow is preventing a lot of conflicts, I would say. You know, had it been had it been in line with the conspiracies and so on, we could have had lots of conflicts and lots of massacres, and we could have decimated by now. But somehow our population is even rising, and they cannot actually destroy us. So
Yes.
we actually are uh, better than what is planned for us. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the hope that I have, because we it's not like we are killing our neighbors now. It's like, of course, there's a power struggle, and there's a fight over power and over petty things. And I'm not undermining the lives that are lost,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it could have been worse. It could have been worse, and it could still get worse. But I'm hoping that the spiritual strengths that we have will prevail
Yeah.
later, and we'll come to our senses, and things will be better.
Wow. Wow. Sadeke, man, I wanted you here for a long time, right? I appreciate for sharing your wisdom with us. This is amazing. It's a privilege
You
to
are
have you
doing
here.
amazing. You are doing amazing. Um, I'll let others talk of. I don't want to take time from others.
Appreciate Sadeke. Please say hi to Sadeke Juniors. Yeah, that's my brother Sadeke. Man, Sadeke has been here from the very start. I still remember Sadeke. He always helped me, to understand a lot about Ethiopia culture and everything. Every time when I have questions, so I really appreciate it. He's one of the very loyal Swahili Nation family member. It's a family right there. And I promise that I will come back to this comment. I would like all African people to learn Ethiopian alphabets to be used in their own languages, not the Latin, of which it has been distorted, manipulated, and copied from Ethiopian alphabets. My personal wish, I wish we can learn and speak all African languages. You know what I'm saying? I wish we can do that. Me personally, I started to couple days ago, actually, a couple weeks, if it's not month, I started to learn a little bit of Ethiopian language. But man, guys, I gotta be honest with you. I am so bad at learning language. I am so bad, like so bad. When I was back home, Tanzania, I always spoke Swahili, right? So when I was learning English, it was really hard. Like it was weird. Even the time when I went to university here to Korea, I was still not speaking English. That's how bad it was. And when I came here, I I started to learn Korean, and that was even like super difficult because I can't speak English. I don't have confidence, and Korean it's also difficult. It's like one of the hardest languages, right? But God is good. I learned, and right now I can speak a little bit of Korean, and I can speak a little bit of English. But then I know that just for me, when it comes to language, I'm really bad. It's one of the things that I can say I'm not gifted. Yeah. But this is something that I can, I can recommend to anybody out there, that if you can, man, learn African languages. Learn Ethiopian, learn Swahili, learn all kind of languages, because it's very important when it comes to communication. And if you want to take over this world, then we need to be able to communicate. We need to be able to do that, to take advantage of the language. You know what I'm saying? English, learn English. Take advantage of the English language, because otherwise we wouldn't be communicating here right now. So you can learn as many languages as you can, and to take advantage of it. It's very important. I appreciate for the donation. This means a lot. I think this is the first donation in the live stream. Live stream, not premium, live stream. So I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Wow. Okay, let's see here. We have some comments here before I get out of here. And also, guys, if there's anybody who want to share something, there's a link in the comment section. I'll share again. I think I will give a last chance to anyone who want to come and share something shortly, to come and to share that before I sign out for today. We grow up, okay, let me see this one. Say, we grow up liking, from Fafi MA. We grow up liking, loving to be like the Western. So it makes us give us and dislike ourselves. Actually, this is it's really good. It's really good comment. That I was thinking about this thing today, actually. Because personally, I love Apple products. I'm crazy about them, right? And so I was thinking, I was like, if it happens that we have like African brand, phone brand, I was asking myself a question, and I want to be very honest with you guys. So would I be willing to let go of my love I have for Apple product, and to go after something else? Because here where I am, the product here is Samsung. I'm in South Korea, right? They produce Samsung and LG, but LG, they stopped producing them, manufacturing them. So I was like, will I be willing to go after that and let go of the Apple product that I'm using? Actually, when I was asking myself this question, I realized that no, I'm not going to be willing to. But then I think I thought about this, and I don't know if you guys can help me out, if this is justifying myself. I think we have to take advantage of things that are out there, and to use it for ourselves as well. We need to take advantage of that. It's true, we grew up wanting to be like these people. We grew up admiring foreigners, that admiring ourselves and people that we have in our countries. We grew up supporting that than what we have back in Africa. And it's right that because of that, it gives us this negative energy of looking down on ourselves and seeing like, you know what, I think our value is not that good, disvaluing ourselves little by little. And I think that's narrative we need to change. There's nothing wrong for you liking and loving things from outside, but it becomes a wrong thing when you disvalue what you have. It becomes a bad thing, and it becomes a bad behavior. And we need to learn how to be patriot. Yesterday I shared about the late Magufuli, and the spirit of Magulification that is started in Africa, of people being patriots to their countries, loving their people, loving the continent. We need to have that spirit in us. We need to build that spirit in us, loving what we have. Yes, you can go ahead, you can you can go, you can study, you can do this and this, you can buy this and this, but do you love yourself? Do you love Africa? What does it mean for you to be an African? This was the question I pointed out here. What does it mean for you to be an African? What does it mean for you to be an African? Oh my goodness. All right. So what does it mean for you and me to be an African? We have another comment here. He say, for me, the problem of Africa is us. What Africa have is more than enough for the world, but we carry a big head that couldn't help us even to feed ourselves. A lot of time when I'm doing live stream for One Africa Forum, I am trying my really best to be critical on ourselves. Because we can blame as much as we can. Yes, there's a huge part that other people are playing to deteriorate our country and our continent. But just like Fafi MA, I think I agree with you to some extent that there are things we need to work on. There are things we need to work on. We have more than enough. We have everything. And we talked about it today. We have everything. But why? I think this is one of the things that Sadeki was mentioning about the abundant resources and scarcity we are having. Like, we have abundant resources in Africa. Yes, there's a scarcity. And we're still fighting about them. And they're still there. There are things that we're lacking, right? Maybe technology are lacking that and some other stuff. But I think you do have the point. We have more than enough. We have abundance. But how are we moving on from that place of that, okay, we have more than enough. Okay, how are we moving from that place to another place, to another level? That what we have, it can help us to change our economy. What we have, it can help us to change our families, to change everything that is going on. If we're not going to be fighting every single day, we'll be focusing on something else. Because every single day, our government will be, setting aside a huge budget to go to a war, fighting against each other instead of going to education system, instead of going to infrastructure, to go to industries in the country. And it's true. What is happening in Nigeria is really awful. It's bad. And there's always been a struggle between Christians and Muslim in Nigeria. And it's awful. It's like genocide going on there. Like, war after war, people are killing one another. I was talking to my best friend. My best friend is Nigerian. I was like, man, this is awful. You cannot even see like how people they just go and fire the church. People just go and killing some people, like just random like that. It's awful. And I think because of that, that's what is drawing us back. We cannot move forward. What is happening in Congo? I shared about that. Congo is one of the richest countries in the world. But what is happening right there, you know what I'm saying? Like, they cannot move forward because always man is fighting, always is fighting. When do you have time to work hard? When do you have time to save the money that comes in the government in some development projects? When do you have that time? You don't have that time. And this is one of the strategies that is going on to actually cripple us, Africa. But also we have to look at ourselves. And that's why we're talking about One Africa, that, you know what, yes, we have tribes, it's a beautiful thing, but we don't have a reason to fight with one another. Why should I fight with someone because of things that have been told by someone? There's this tendency, if I tell you this, that, you know what, America hates you. If I tell you this, that's an example. America hates you. You are going to tell somebody that, you know what, man, you have no idea how much America hates you. This is what I heard. But that's not what I told you. I told you, but when you pass information from one person to another, it changes. It changes. So at the end of the day, you have people, young generation, young people, young folks who hate so much, hate this tribe, hate this country. For no reasons. When you ask, why do you hate? They say, you know what? I heard about this and this and this. So everybody you ask, when you ask them, they say, I heard about this. I heard about this. I heard from the news. I heard about this. Where did you hear from? How sure you are that those informations are correct? How sure you are? We cannot be lazy. Africa, let's not be lazy, for God's sake. Laziness kills us. Laziness destroys our continent. Laziness is that tendency of you staying there and be like, I heard this, I heard this. Go and do research. Go and sit down with people, talk to them. If you think that these people, they hate me, these people, they want to kill me, man, go and find yourself. Go and study about it. Go and do research. Go and find something. We cannot just sit down and feed ourselves with the information that we want to hear. That, okay, I want to hear this, I want to hear this, just to control to fight with one another. We cannot afford to do that. We cannot afford, and we cannot be lazy. 60% of Africa's population is young people, me and you, man. We can change continent. Come on, man. Come on, man. There's nothing is impossible under the sun. Nothing impossible under the sun. That's why in my bio, Instagram, I wrote, love, peace, and unity for Africa is possible. That's what I'm living right now. Love, peace, and unity for Africa is possible. Everything is possible, man. Come on, somebody. Appreciate again, man, for the donation. Appreciate. Thank you so much. I'm not talking about languages. Since African languages are too many, I am typically focusing on the Ethiopian alphabets. The Ethiopian alphabets can successfully substitute to Latin. Oh, that's really good point. You know, in the vlog that I've done for Ethiopia, like Ethiopia Monument Memorial Wall here in Korea, that vlog I did, there's actually one video I share about the Ethiopian alphabet. Like there's a place I show Ethiopian alphabet. I didn't know about this. I think this is very interesting point, because that is African language. Like it's only there, right? It's only there, and I think it's very interesting point. It's really interesting point. You know, I hope our leaders, you know, in African Union, you know, will consider about it. This is something really interesting. It's very interesting. Something that we can learn. Well, and shout out to Education Forward by Ezra. I appreciate for the donation. That means a lot. You're wearing your Africa beautifully. Man, I really appreciate. This means a lot. You have no idea. This means a lot to Swahili Nation, to us. Thank you so much, man, for the donation. I appreciate so much. African problem from Black. African problem, whether it's an overthrow of elected leader by forced civil war or famine, etc. It's important and sponsored by the Western superpowers to control Africa resources covert operation. You know, at the end of the day, I really wish that we have people who have hearts for Africa, Pan-Africanism. I wish we have people who love Africa. Because if we have Africans who love Africa, no matter what, man, we're not going to agree to write contract or treaties that they going to harm our people. Because people matters a lot. When you talk about Africa, it's not about the continent. It's about people, Africans. It's about their lives. Their lives matters. Their voices matters. I was listening to this one leader in Tanzania, and he was saying, as a leader, you have to listen to your people. You're there because people choose you to be there. I shared this before in the first season of One Africa Forum that, you know, back in Africa, our leaders, when they do something good, you know what we do? We clap for them. And they feel proud of themselves. No. We put you there to serve us. You guys are the bosses. Like, we are citizens. People are the bosses because we are the one who choose your leader to be there on the government to actually make things right. So when you do some right, it's not about clapping our fingers for you. You're doing your job. That is your job. That's the reason why we put you there. And you run for president or you run for the office because you have something that you can bring on the table, and you made a lot of promises to bring something on the table. And when you're there and you do something good, you actually have to thank us because we put you there. You're working for us. You were a servant. I'll come one day to talk about it. Servant leadership. As a leader, you need to be servant. You're serving the people. You're not there for yourself. You're serving the people. But, you know, most of our leaders, they're just getting fat, you know, and fat and fat. And I'm like, you know, how can you get fat and you are serving the whole continent? The whole country. How can you even sleep while people are dying? We need to see you like your hair turning white. We need to see your face like getting like this skinny because you're working for people. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to see. How can you sleep? Our leaders are the most richest people in Africa. Can you imagine that? The richest, they have some account outside. They have some enterprises here and there. And I'm like, for God's sake, how many people are dying and they don't have anything? And you're just there to consume? We should learn from one another. That's why in this case, I always say that the case of Magufuli, when he became a president, man, he cut down his salary. And he was like, he cut down a lot of budgets. Because it was like, you know, we cannot just continue to do this and our people are dying every single day. We need to save our people. We're here for our people. Kuru E.T., welcome back.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Mika?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, man. It's been a while. It's good to see you here.
Yeah. It's been a while too. So how are you?
Man, I'm good. what do you have to share with us today?
Yeah, I just have some questions. I just have one question just to ask.
Okay.
For example, back in those days where the Black American movement was active in America, right? So they have Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, those freedom fighters. They were there back in those days, right? So my question is, like today, like who do you see as a good leader, like to that of Malcolm X and Mandela caliber?
Ah, and that's a good question.
Mm.
That's the thing actually, that there is a big need for leadership, and
True.
like there's that anger of leadership, because the leaders we used to see back in the days, like the one that you mentioned, or the founding fathers of our nation, of our country, like it's rare to find these days. That's why you
True.
find out that every time when we're talking about Pan-Africanism, they always go back to talk about the old, to talk about
Nkrumah.
the old leaders and what they've done in the past. But to answer your question, regardless of a lot of weaknesses that these leaders have, but there are people that in Africa, like specifically in Africa, that personally I'm looking and I'm following very close. The late President Magufuli in Tanzania, the Prime Minister in Ethiopia, Paul Kagame from Rwanda.
Rwanda.
Yes, Rwanda. There's this one another president. I think he's from. It's not. Is it Lusaka? No, it's not Zambia. I forgot the country, but I think these three leaders that I mentioned, in the level of the highest position in the office, I think the leaders that have been really following up to them close, and to kind of listen and what they say, how they do things, and learning, day after day. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, the same thing. Paul Kagame from
Yes.
Rwanda. I mean, they have been through a lot,
Yes.
and how, like the strategy that he took to overcome that chaotic situation, and then to make Rwanda. Rwanda is a very small country, if you know, and
Exactly.
to make that country prosperous, like, or going to into what you may call it, a better development, right? So he contributed to better development of the country. So I mean, that's something that I give kudos to that. But other than that, it's really very difficult, to be honest with you. We have Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, so that's our Prime Minister. He has a very tremendous vision for the country, and when he decided to to make his vision a reality, so all the enemies have woken up, I guess. So when you start doing the work, I mean, that's when all the enemies come to life, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that is really sad. And I mean, when you are really like you said, it's he's very patriotic for the country. He has a good vision for the country. He can mobilize people. He can motivate people.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are the good qualities that we have, and he's very humble. By the way, he's very, very, very humble. He's a very humble guy. But I mean, we will see, like, his policies and stuff like that. I mean, we just had an election a month ago, so we will see. Like, I mean, like what he's gonna do. But
Yes.
from what I see, from the criteria that we put like on our leaders, like
Yeah.
like having a good character, having the right state of mind, stuff like that. I mean, that's a good start.
Yes.
But I mean, the challenges are really, 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 really difficult at this time. Really, really
Yeah.
difficult because it's not only we're not only just for example, I'm sure you're aware of like we have inter conflict we have with within our country. I'm sure you have some rate or inform yourself about it. But that is not only the war that we are facing. We are facing
Yeah.
war. I think we are facing a proxy war from
Mm.
countries. Then I'm not gonna mention names. Like I'm not gonna say this country, but I'm just
Mm.
gonna say like who have vested interest in. Not only from Africa, but not from
Yeah.
Ethiopia, but from Africa also. Okay, for
Mm. Mm.
example, there is, as you know, Ethiopia is one of the most abundantly gifted in terms of water resources.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
so
Mm-hmm.
that by itself, and if you see countries like Saudi Arabia, and if you see
Mm.
countries like the Middle East countries, right? So
Mm.
even Israel, right? So
Mm.
those countries are, if you just Google it and check
Yeah.
the level of water scarcity in those countries and the
Mm.
policy that they proactively engage with Africa. I mean,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing. Okay, so
Mm.
they have their own interest. The Middle East, they have their own interest,
Yeah.
and the Westerns have their own interest. The East
Mm.
countries, like the Russians and the Chinese,
Mm.
they have their own interest. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's why I ask. Like when you talk about leadership, now this is the
Mm.
time to be tested. This is the
Yes.
time.
Mm.
Okay,
It is.
so
Mm-hmm.
these are the challenges that we are facing right now. Because
Mm.
if you become a source of hope for Africa,
Yeah.
okay, so a sort of integrity, a
Uh.
source of pride for Africa. I mean, you
Mm.
will be tested. You will be
Yeah.
tested. So that's
Yeah.
exactly where we're going through right now. So these are the
Oh.
toughest time. These are the toughest time today
Uh.
we're facing. But I mean, if there's God, I mean, I'm sure
Mm.
He will help us.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Mm.
sure. I'm sure He will help us because I mean, it's not only from one front. You see,
Yeah.
it's just from different sides. The challenges you've been we're pulling
Mm.
apart from different sides because there
Mm.
are different interests that are playing part in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, we should. That's what I said. Like, I mean, who should we look up to? For me, we
Mm.
should look up to God first. I mean,
Exactly.
that's given.
Mm. Mm.
But at the same time, I mean, we talk about unity, right? So when we talk
Mm.
about unity, unity without economic integration is nothing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
first thing that has to be is integration. For example, if you ask me, it's like, okay, what do you know about Tanzania? I will say nothing. I know it's the
Mm.
Tanzania embassy. I cross by it every day,
Yeah.
but I don't know nothing about Tanzania.
Mm.
Okay, so what we
Yeah.
say, what's the products that you said? Do you know
Mm.
anybody who like to invest in Africa, like in Africans
Mm.
investing in Africa,
Mm.
except for Dangote, which is a South African or Nigerian billionaire, right?
Yeah.
So except
Nigeria.
for him, I mean Nigerian. Okay, yeah,
Mm.
Nigerian billionaire. Like who? Okay, do you see any investment that is made by African to in Africa? Do you?
Mm.
To be
Mm.
honest,
Mm.
like, do you say do you have like a unique product that you sell within your neighbors?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, economic unity without it, I mean, it's really
Mm.
impossible to even think about
Yeah.
unity stuff like that, right?
Mm.
European
Mm.
Union is there
Mm.
because of the 60% of the export they they do within Europe. Do you know this? That's something that's so. Those are the things that we should ask ourselves. Those are the things that we should really, really, really ask ourselves. It's like, I mean, that's the situation, Mika.
Yeah, Kuru, I really, I really appreciate, I think it's very important what you point out, and it's I've been really thinking about this as you are talking about it. It's a big challenge, It is a big challenge. When you were talking about leadership, it got me thinking, because most of the time we lose good leaders, like good leaders that we need, like we know that we need. Like I will always go back to the case of Magufuli, that we need this leader to be with us as long as he can. They always leave Eric, and you're wondering, like, what if we had him for 10 years, man? Like Tanzania, it was on a horizon in so many ways, but now he's gone. His vision is gonna be dead as well, or his vision is gonna turn to leave. That spirit that he poured out, on a lot of Tanzanians in Africa, is he gonna continue to leave? And you say that whenever we have good leaders, people who are honest, people who they want the best for the continent, for Africa, there's always so much negativity comes from even within the country, because the system, like in our government office, has been corrupted for so long, and a lot of people have been benefited from the people's taxes. All right, the tax that we pay as a normal people, we have people who have been benefited from that. So if I come today as a clean person, I really just care the well-being of my people. What happens is, I'm hated. I become the enemy of everybody. I become an enemy of the state. I become enemy of the West, because they, when I come there, it's like I'm destroying everything. You're not going to be able to come in to do anything to my country if I'm that clean. And so the best way is to take you down. And we have a lot of cases like that happen in Africa, And so it's something very, that's why it brings me back to what Sadek said today, that we have to work on our education. Because in order for us to change this system, I think we need to start from from deep down, from kindergarten, from high school, elementary school, middle school, high school. We have to start from there. And it's going to take a while. It's true, it's going to take a while, but that cannot stop us from actually moving towards that direction.
Definitely. And, like you said, all hell will break loose when you are that kind of person, right? But this is the point that I'm trying to make, okay, Mika? So if it is deliberately, I just gave a comment on this. If they deliberately, with intentions, did the work to disunite, disintegrate, to have all this classification. Not what did you call it? Classification, or what is it? You are from this tribe. You are from this tribe. Okay, if they did it intentionally, if they did it intentionally, then we need to intentionally, do the work to fight that.
Exactly, that ideology. Yeah.
That ideology, exactly. If they did it intentionally, then we have to do it deliberately and intentionally. So I mean, that's where we should be. That's where we should start. Okay. So I mean, God help us, man. God help us.
we have education forward, man. I want to hear your opinion as well. Can you jump in? I think your mic is muted.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, man, welcome. I've been reading your comments. It's such very insightful.
I've been a big follower of you. I think since you've been doing the reaction on these things, but I like these new angles that you've taken. With the Pan-African view. But I first, like, I talked about deconstruction and all of that, but I think we burden ourselves too much, thinking that we have to do this, we have to do
Yeah.
this, we have to do that, we have to do this. I think what you have to think about, like, the work has already been done. The work that you're talking about, the
Yes.
education that people give their children growing up, okay, growing up, like, in the outside of the mainstream education, because
Yes.
look at you, you didn't get the education that you want the new children to have, but look at you, at the end of the day, like, you evolved through your life, through your educations, through your travels, but you came around to the same conclusions that every African makes. So yes, we need the education, but I don't think the burden is that much as you think it is. That's the one point I want to make. The other one is that you talk about DRC a lot, and which is the best case example. But what I wanted to stress on that one is, but very important thing to stress is that you have to also flip the script a little bit. What is it that DRC gives these Westerners that makes them feel like it is a life and death thing when it comes to DRC? So you remember the brutal murder of Lumumba, who's founding independence movement, on equal terms. Very young man, 35, I think, in his early or mid 30s. Incredible person. He's audacity. No, I think it's Lumumba, right?
Patrice Lumumba. Yeah, you're right.
Patrice Lumumba.
An incredible person, all throughout. But the way they kept and made sure there's no trace of him by melting it on acid. And this is things that are like you can find on like publicly available released secrets of the CIA and all of that. But I don't want to dwell on that. The thing I want to tell you that if we extricate DRC of this kind of colonization, that neo-colonization, I wouldn't even say neo-colonization, it's pure colonization. You have an army under the helmet of the United Nations that is there, that's stationed there, that keeps this system going. But if you were to think about it, some of the resources is so exclusive to Congo. If Africa had any say on that, if Congo has any say on that, the cost to the world, to the Western world, to their lifestyle would be 5 to 10 times. That's my uneducated estimate. I'm sure there's somebody who could dive in even and find even more like stuff. So the story of Congo is as old as about since the colonization by what's name the Belgian king. It was a private property, and there are books written by Westerners, not even Africans, by Westerners admitting that his atrocity was an example to that of Hitler's followed atrocities and to the Jews. So the Congo thing, what it gives you is that it makes you understand who you are opposing and how far they will go to destroy you, because it's so vital, it's so critical. I don't think there's any more critical in the world to Westerners than the resources Africa like cheaply provides. And they tell us, it's because you have raw materials, you are a raw material based economy. That's why your economy doesn't go. So you should find a way to. That's a big, massive lie. Canada is huge part of the economy is raw material. The US, huge part of the economy is raw material. Australia, huge part of the economy raw material. The reason is that because of their power and control, they can determine the price. But countries like Congo that has more exclusive raw materials than anybody in the world. And then you see them not getting anything in return. And we are told, we Africans, because we are not industrialized. I would say we should stop exporting coffee. We should stop exporting tea. We should stop exporting anything unless they come to their senses and realize that this is like. Anyways, I've said a lot about it, but the point I wanted to make is we have to appreciate that these Western countries are coming in with much deeper concern, much more serious concern and we should not take it lightly, and we should prepare for that kind of confrontation, not for the rhetoric and the noise of tits and back and forth, but more for the deeper, like, what is their motivation? How far are they willing to go for this, for the things that they get? How dependent are they on the resources of Africa to maintain a lifestyle and an appearance of well-being? And all of that is part of the equation. I think the Ethiopians are thinking, the Ethiopian government is thinking through that, and a lot of African countries are thinking through that. They're playing the long game. So this is not a short game kind of thing. You gotta play the long game, and you gotta fight. Like Sun Tzu said, the Chinese general said, you gotta fight on your own time, on your own conditions, and in your own space. That is the approach you have to. I think that's what's happening. Slowly but surely, Africa is getting there, and then the independence that we've established from the colonization is an example. But the frustration is there. I understand the frustration, but in the long run, Africa is the winner, because that's the approach the world actually. The way Africa is, the culture, the tradition, the way we preserved history, culture, traditions, from environment to economy to culture, religion, faith, all of those things will be an advantage that we will bring to the table. I think I've said it. Thank you so much.
Wow. Wow, I really appreciate for your insight, man. This is why I say every voice matters. That's amazing. It's amazing. Kuriti, do you have anything else to add?
No, I mean, he said it well. I mean, take a look at Libya, for example, right? What happened to Libya? So they have a leader, Gaddafi, which is, I mean, for other African kind of nations, Gaddafi might not be some very figurative leader, right? But for Libyans, I mean, he was a very good leader for Libyans. But now, what happened to Libya? Because of the resources that they have. So that's what attracted the Western countries to Libya at the same at this point, right? So I mean, he said it right. It's all about resources, Mika. I think how do we play the game? That's the question we need to ask. How do we play the game? I mean, we should really be smart about this, you know? Really smart about it. For example, how do you privatize your companies, your organization, the companies that you have in your country? For example, the banks, stuff like that, right? The financial system, the fintech, stuff like that, like the telecommunication system. We should be very smart about it. How we approach this, because at the end of the day, if they cannot put you down, like, because of the pressure that they put you, like, economically, the sanctions that they throw at you, stuff like that. If they don't if they see they cannot win that way, you know what they do? They come straight at you with military. That's I mean, we should really be we should keep that in mind. I mean, if they cannot do it like they do it with the what do you call it, with the unseen hands? Is that what you say?
Invisible hands.
Invisible hands, right? They're trying to do it with invisible hands.
That's what. That's the most efficient and most effective way of doing it. Think about
exactly.
Position, that's how you do it. But now it's becoming more overdone.
Because we're aware of it now. We're aware of it now. Only now. Go ahead, Mr. Isler.
Oh, sorry. So I wanna ask a question. What do you think will happen if Africa will say that, you know what, we're gonna hold off our resources, we're not gonna transport anywhere, we're gonna keep it for ourselves? What do you think is gonna happen?
It's a very good question, but I think if you have to think about it, I mean, Ethiopia is like a source of the coffee, right? Like, yes. I'm giving you Ethiopia as an example. I can go to Kenya, I can go to Ghana. I grew up partly in Ghana too. And Ghana, cocoa is very important, gold is important. And I know different countries have different resources. If you think about, like, in the case of Ethiopia, think of coffee. Look at the scale of coffee industry in the world. The scale, just look at it.
Yeah.
And in Ethiopia, we are like, oh, we are pleased. Like, oh, we moved from $400 million a year almost to $1 billion, and we are like ecstatic about it, right? We think that is like a big, massive achievement. It is a big achievement. It's a growth. So we are happy about it. But if you actually flip the equation a little bit, look at it a little bit slightly differently. From the perspective of, let's say, a company that has nothing to do with coffee, called Starbucks. And then it doesn't, like, it's not even the biggest company, but it's the one that's most visible because of the brand and a lot of innovative.
Exactly.
Makes about somewhere around selling either coffee or anything that confectionery is about somewhere around $5 billion.
Yeah.
And then it's not, and then I think the coffee industry is somewhere between $50 to $120 billion worldwide. And then you ask yourself, well, this game is not. So I'm in the US. I live in the US. I see Starbucks everywhere. I'm like, why isn't Ethiopia exporting tomoko shops everywhere? Instead of
my brother, it's a system.
Like, why isn't a tomoka shop? I know they've opened a shop in Japan, the first one, but that one shop will probably bring in $20 million a year for Ethiopia. Than like, you know, selling like 20,000 tons of coffee in Japan. So why? So you realize, so these guys have gamed it in such a way that they take your brand, they take your value, and then they optimize and monetize it instead of so we have to
and then they get all the benefit.
And they get
it just remains saying that, oh, our name is there, but you don't get anything.
No,
they're using it, your name, they're using it, your products, everything, and you get nothing.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So we have to so we have to say that if we withdraw from like providing resources to the world, I don't think we will lose that much. That's the first answer to the question. That's it. We will not lose as much as we think we will lose. That's the one thing.
Sorry.
Okay. Go ahead,
sorry to interrupt. Let me ask. Like, I mean, then how should we sustain ourselves then?
We already sustaining ourselves like that. Most of Africa. Look, I did a research back in 2013, and it was for something else. I was writing a publication with my MBA professor. And like strategies for like human resource, like, you know, strategies for people, talent management strategies in Africa. And then through the research, what blew me, it was 2013, 2014, and that data is consistently true all throughout the colonial era. And this is the very thing that I revealed. At that time, I remember I looked at the African economy was around $2.3 trillion, the total GDP. It's not that big. But it's huge. It's huge, but it's not that big. And then that year, and consistently for years before it, and then that year, the amount of aid that we got accounts for 1.15% of the GDP of Africa. And then, but we are sold the notion that Africa that cannot survive without aid. But the contribution to the total GDP. So when you look at Ethiopia, and when you look at Kenya, when you look at Tanzania, it is consistently true across Africa. I'm sure I don't have to do research. Most of the welfare, the caring of each other is taken care of by the local domestic effort. So Ethiopia, for example, is probably as one of the things that is the source of the conflict that people don't understand right now is the extrication of Ethiopia from this like unfettered access to aid countries is one of the source of the conflict. But you look at Ethiopia, it's about 5% of the GDP come from these foreigners. But the demand they have, or the claim they have, the perception they want to set in our mind is as if they actually do 95% of the economy depends on it. So this the formula they have is that give you peanuts, give you breadcrumbs, then make it like I'm giving you bread. So how do we sustain the question to the how do you sustain? You have to first deconstruct that that
Yeah.
colonize us from the notion that we actually already like that.
You
That
know,
In our
more
minds, right?
perceptions. Huh? Yeah.
you
say-
know what?
Okay.
Sorry,
Mika, go
sorry.
ahead. Mika, go ahead.
You know, one of the things that I shared before, I said, I think that's one of the issue, the problem we have in African governments, that our budget, it highly depends on foreign aids than the money that is inside. So in a way, our countries have been crippled, and we believe that we cannot really do anything without aids. And so we always just go back and look for support and look for support. But if we focus, I'm saying, if you cannot get rid of the AIDS at all, it's fine. Take it, do like what Paul Kagame is doing, right? You're bringing your AIDS to my country, but we're going to need to do this on our own terms, right? Because usually they bring and they say, you know what, this and this and this is what you have to do. But Paul Kagame, he said that, you know what, I know my country and I know what it means to us, and I know what we have to do. So if you're giving me loan, we're going to use it on our own time. We're going to use it in this way because we know our people and we know how we have to use it. But on the other note of that, I kind of feel like I think it's the time for us to depend more on what we have. And if there's an aid from outside, that will be just addition to what we already have. That means even if they put sanction on us and they take away aids, we don't need it anyway, because we still have a foundation and we have something that we can actually run our government with, something that we have. I think that is something that we can work on, because some of the governments, they highly depend on the aid, and if today you cut it down, they say, you know what, we are not going to be able to operate at all.
So
the
distinction here.
Micah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, go. Sorry.
Okay. What I was just trying to say is, like, I'm sure you've learned economics, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
In economics, there is such thing called tie aid. So they will tie you with the aid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. That's the economic system. I mean, for example, take Japan, right? Before the Americans went to Japan, what happened to Japan? It is closed as a country for 100 years.
Exactly.
It was totally self-sufficient for 100 years, Japan. So what happened? They forced it. They forced Japan to open its borders and then to do import and export with them, right? You want to do a trade with them. So that's what happened. I mean, I think it's all about system now. I think we should. All things fall into a system. The system has been designed now, right? So we should. So, for example, in our country, the Prime Minister has proposed a locally laid strategy. Locally. Okay, it's a. I mean, there's a word to it. There is a word, indigenous economic strategy. So he proposed that.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? All the Western media, they try to criticize them. Okay, because they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So the point is, I mean, we should really think about system. We should really think about the system. The economy. That's what I said. Like, what about inter regional trade within African nations? Okay, why don't we give focus to that first? Why don't we go focus to the resources that we have right now? For example, like we have agriculture, right? Why don't we think about like making agriculture most productive in a very systematic way, right? And not be less dependent on technology that we use. I mean, I don't think we can avoid technology right now, but we can use it for our own benefit. You know, so this kind of stuff, like, why don't we invest in our organic art, culture, stuff like we have like so many resources right now. Why don't we use those resources to empower other African countries also? Okay. Yeah. Integrating economies. I think that's the most important thing.
You know what?
Economy. Go ahead.
You know what you're saying? It's really important, and it's really sad. One thing that I always feel really sad, actually, I mean, I don't know if it's something to feel sad, but personally, I feel really bad, is you spoke about system. I think, man, as you said about, aid, that they're creeping, like literally they're aiming to cripple our economy, right? So that forever we'll be, dependent. Yeah, on like we can never work alone, we cannot be independent. And this it portrays it. You can see it's being manifested even in the like local communities. See, like these days, if you see a white man walking around the street in your country, you see a lot of people going around and asking for help. Like, hey, can I have money? Can I get a money? Can I get money? So this mindset, it goes even to young children. Like, okay, if I see a white man, I know that I'll get support of money. But most of them, they don't have anything. They actually come there because they don't have anything. They cannot survive in their countries, and they're coming to take things away from our own countries. But you can see that mindset is being like portrayed even in a younger generation now, and even how we look at them and how we see them. And we need to change. Like, we need to change the system. There's somebody commented here. We were talking about Starbucks before. He said, take Starbucks, for example. What they offer Ethiopia to get coffee and how much they sell it at is ridiculous. That's what we were talking about before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so, also, Mika, I just want to point. Sorry, I just want to make one point. Okay. So the thing is, like, okay, so aid, that's crucial, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we need to work on the culture. America, I'm going to talk about America only, managed to do this because of the media, the Hollywood that they used. Okay?
Sorry, guys.
The Hollywood made a very, very big contribution to the brainwashing of our culture, right? So we should really think about that also, Mika. Like the kind of content that we produce, that really matters. All right. So are you really empowering your community, your society? Are you changing this? Because media has a very powerful impact on our generation, right? So I just want to make that point. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Israel. Go ahead.
No. It's good. I mean, this is like, I want to extend your conversation a little bit. I have this experience. I was building a school in Ethiopia, and one of the school was scholarship for smart, talented, but people without resources. And one of my students, I remember, was he had to do so much stuff for his family. And what was this? Is like his dad had this place where they do metal work somewhere near Old Airport. I don't know if you know, it's the other guests. I didn't get the name, sorry, because I joined it.
Kuru, my name.
Kuru, okay. I don't know if you know that neighborhood. And I've visited the place, seen what they do, and I saw that. So you build these industrial zones, like billions of dollars spent trying to attract foreign investors, but those foreign investors are bringing your savings. But this guy, this humble person, doing all sort of critical work in the community, they are like put there near a river. If any flood comes in, they just wiped out overnight all their efforts. And so like the industrial zones should not be this fancy Chinese looking stuff. The industrial zones are like small, craftsmanships that are like on the ground, already sustaining large portion of the economy. That's a fact. The fact of the matter. The Ethiopia economy is about $100 billion right now. About 80% of that is generated through most of these little things all over the place.
Small scale
stuff.
Yeah.
So they should have protections, and they're very easy, simple policies that you could do. That like says, okay, he was like there. So when we applied for scholarship for him at Duke University, they looked at his family's finance and they saw that as a poverty rate condition, even though his father is an entrepreneur, and he is an entrepreneur. But by any measure, the amount they earned, and then I looked at the tax. I was filing those documents for his scholarship, and I looked at the numbers, the tax they were paying. They were making about 150,000 birr a year, a family of about 8. So you break it down, it comes down to about $345 per person per year, if I remember my calculation correctly. And that is poverty for American standard. And they were paying of that about 30% of it to tax. They were being taxed by the government. Meanwhile, it could be a Turkish, a Chinese, American company has duty-free access because they are in that special zone. To me, that kind of dichotomy, we don't even know that we're doing that because we are so desperate, because our government are so desperate, so dependent on foreign aid. All the time when they see solutions, they're always looking at the foreigners for investors. But the solution is already there. People are already solving the problem. What you have to do is just realign policies a little bit. So what the Ethiopian government is doing right now is like that you see happening is that realignment, and that is scaring the heck out of countries. They're seen in a tangible and substantial way. You look at Rwanda, the same thing. You look at a lot of countries are doing it. A lot of countries are doing it in Africa. It's unnoticed, it's not publicized in news. You go to Nigeria, you go to Ghana, you go to Senegal. It's happening. You go to even the coup d'etat in Guinea. It's about stopping that kind of those little bit but unnoticed kind of movement in the direction that you guys are talking about. So that is an indication that we are talking about the right things, and the Western powers, they know about those things that like the developing, so the growing change and transformation. Like Ethiopia, for example, can't do without the aid and still take care of itself. Most of the money that was coming in was paying, leaders to keep quiet. That's the money. That's what when budgets are dependent on Western powers, it's saying to you that they are telling you to shut up. They're not giving you money to take care of resolve the problems, but they're giving you enough money to appease enough people to keep things quiet and then to prevent any kind of dramatic and significant policy changes that really alters the course of your history. That is the game that they're playing. And I think what's happening right now, African countries are slowly but surely going in that direction, where they are resolving these little things on the ground and really revitalizing things. Like Cote d'Ivoire, for example, just announced that no raw material, I think it's rubber materials, should can go out, can be exported raw. It has to be processed. Ghana is going about we're not selling cocoa anymore to the West. Yeah, but they will say, oh, it's not much, 300, 500, $1 billion, doesn't matter. But they're not saying that. You realize that they are seeing that as a danger now. That assertion of independence is a danger to the model that Westerners have kind of imposed on us. So that's I think that's my contribution to this conversation that you guys just had.
Yeah, but guys, I just want to point out something. All right. Yeah. It's very, 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 very. I want you to check out this guy. He's Mika. Do you know Fred? Fred from South Africa. Yeah, Fred. I think his name is Fred Swaneker.
Yeah. Right. This guy who has a school.
Exactly. I mean, that guy, I really admire. I mean, that's what practically, he's playing their game in our favor. The education system that he's creating, it is something that is that's really good. So check it out, the Africa Leadership Network. It will give you a good insight, like what can be done.
That's amazing.
Anyways, it's a good conversation, guys. I really appreciate Mika.
Kuru, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate for hanging around. This means a lot, man. We're doing something for the continent, and I really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, sure. And next time, okay?
Yeah.
Appreciate.
Thank you, Kuru, and thank you, Mika. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I think, Ethiopia should legislate Swahili as another language that to be taught in schools. I think Swahili is so easy, such an easy language.
Yeah,
I've known my schooling times people who have picked up Swahili, even though they're not East Africans, and in every one of those testimonies I've heard is one of the easiest languages to learn, but it's a very powerful language because it's easy. One, you can easily spread it, and because it's easy. And then I like the idea of alphabet, but I think those are like useful things. But I would suggest that we actually so there's a method called appreciative inquiry approach. It's called you have to look at things from an open space perspective as opposed to this is something that we cannot do. They're preventing us here. You have to look at areas and places that already exist as a basis for building this kind of continental initiative. Like we have to say, you know what? Like you go to let's say Wollo, for example, in Ethiopia, where you will find Muslims praying, and then the Orthodox Christians passing by them, like singing and then no conflict. It's not so Africans. We don't just tolerate other people. Generally, we actually have a love affair. We don't just like like the Westerners tolerate you. Tolerate Muslims tolerate different opinions, but Africans we don't just tolerate. And it's our inherent quality. It's built in African character to really embrace differences, and that's one of the reasons why Africa is so diverse. It's because it's in our nature to really, even though the elites might make us think the otherwise, but the fundamental. If you take the billion people on Africa, the billion plus people on a daily basis, on a regular basis, that interact and meet across each other, those conflicts don't exist. In fact, there's a joy in having the Yorubas next to the Igbos on a regular basis. Of course, that tension exists. There's always a tension that exists. It's human nature, but that human nature is not the basis of fundamental true relationship that actually on the ground exists in Africa. So what we have to do is just build on that, work on that, and build on that. And then the independence of Africa takes time, but be patient. Be strategic patience. Like patience.
Yeah, one step at a time. Yeah.
One step at a time. So I really appreciate and I encourage you to continue this effort that you're doing. And I think you are onto something here. And I think you should think of like an Africa TV. Dedicated to this. An Africa TV. And then I think you are in the right place, in the right position.
Definitely.
To go boldly in that directions. And you are capable of doing that. If you have any lack of confidence, I don't have journalistic background, I don't have anything, forget about those things. You have all the things that you need to really succeed. I'm talking to you personally.
Thank you so
based
much.
on what I see, based on how you embrace a lot of things across Africa, it comes really naturally. When I said you wear Africa beautifully, it's just that's like without education, without deep experience, you have like inherent and innate abilities that demonstrate you are doing a very good job. So have confidence, have belief in that, and continue to do it. And then it will take time to build that consensus, but keep the course.
I appreciate.
And you come from a Julius Nyerere country. Come on. Julius Nyerere.
Come on.
Come on.
Nyerere and Magufuli. Come on, man.
I know you have issues with Nyerere. Tanzanians it's not always consensus. Ghanaians don't have consensus on Nkrumah. Ethiopians don't have consensus on Haile Selassie. That's fine.
I
never have consensus on any human being. But the broader direction is that we agree on your general direction, and that's all that matters.
Man, I really appreciate. But do you mind to introduce yourself? I'd love to know who I'm talking to.
Oh, okay. My name is Isra. It's like exactly education forward is what I actually like been pushing for. I've been in education for a long time in Ethiopia. A little bit of Ghana and then Ethiopia, and so I've worked a little bit on Ethiopian context. But my Pan-Africanism comes me growing up partly in Ghana. That's where I got my Pan-Africanism, because it's that Pan-Africanism. When you live in Ghana and then you tell them you're Ethiopian, you are the son of Haile Selassie. And imagine go to market in Ghana and then you meet people and they say to you, like make you feel like okay, people know about me. They know about me more than this. My last name is my middle name is Mengistu, and some Africans were like, is that the guy who killed my uncle? Mengistu Haile Mariam, is known for,
Yeah.
and so I've been in education for a long time. What I've realized is that so in order to extract Africa out of the kind of condition that we have, my experience tells me is that we already are in that space. We just have not acknowledged most of those things that already exist, and our ability to recycle things. I mean, Africans are just incredible at recycling stuff. Nobody is as environmentalist as Africans. I'm in California. You see a lot of effort to recycle stuff. I don't see them recycling as much as Africans do. Africans do it out of necessity, but through that necessity, we've protected the environment way more than anybody else that's done. Industriousness, like who can survive? You are in Korea. I'm in America. If I go back to Africa, it's so hard to survive. But most Africans survive it. How do they do that? What kind of industriousness and then what kind of resolve must exist in African countries to be able for them to tolerate such degree of poverty? How do you do that? Because Africans have a special breed. We are capable of really taking on pain and suffering in ways no country in the world can accomplish. So, so I've been in education trying to make that the integral part of the way we think about ourselves. Like what we call the last work that I did, we call this locally robust, globally connected education. That's a sense of self, a sense of awareness of who you are, not in the grand. Oh yeah, Ethiopia is a great country that has stood up for independence, but it's not just that. It's not just the good parts. All of it, without discriminating what is good, what is bad. Embracing that in a way that really becomes our energy. Like as an individual, you have flaws, but you still have to have confidence. Your flaws don't determine your level of confidence. Should not determine. So the education system that we worked on is building on that, like inherent human qualities. So there's that component to it. So when we're thinking about education in Africa, and the way forward is to dismantle the sense of this. If you have to educate people, we have to spend billions of dollars that we don't have. Instead, we should be educating people already with the knowledge and the education system that we already have in Africa. Most Africans don't go to modern education. Or if they go through modern education, it's just like skimming through it because the education is so underfunded, so poorly managed, so poorly implemented. We don't have, most Africans don't have a stake in it. Only the elite and the few of us who benefit from it. I mean, there are like few, like I would say 10% of the Ethiopian population that truly benefits from the so-called Western modern education. So most of Ethiopia doesn't have any clue as to what that education is. So, and so the education that is happening in the family, in the community, and the stories they told, and the narrative that is local. So locally robust meaning that we have to really bring in that local context, that local ontology. So, anyways, my introduction to myself is it's not like my name is this, my name is that. My introduction to myself is this is who I am. Somebody who cares about transforming the world from the ground up, not necessarily as a confrontation to Western domination, but as an embrace of who we are, as our identity, our way of life, our belief systems, our values, our history, our culture, our tradition, our conflict, our peace. All of that should be the context within which Africa should be flourishing. And then we will begin to sort out all these little nugget of issues that hold us. And then before we know it, we will be resolving all world problems from climate issues to economy to inequality. If there's anybody who could do those things, it's Africa. If anybody has to resolve climate challenges, it's Africa. If anybody has to resolve income inequality, it's Africa. And then the thing that scares the Westerners is that. That's it. Anyways, I don't know if that's a good enough introduction, but hopefully gives you an idea of who I am a little bit.
That's amazing. I actually went through your YouTube channel and I subscribed.
Yeah.
And guys, if you can, you know, I was going through different things you're talking about. Guys, if you can, check Education Forward by Ezra M. Negusien. Check him out, man, on YouTube right here.
Thank you.
Check him out. I think there's nice. After this, I will go and watch some stuff.
Few of my opinions, but not most of. But I would rather like to support you more than. I'm not good at organizing things like this, like the way you are able to do it. I'm not good at staying the course the way you are doing it, like, you know, staying the course despite all the challenges of doing what you're doing. And I think it's your quality, it's your personality, it's a joy. It's a joy. And then I think your friend, the other friend that you used to have, I don't know if you still have her, but
Asali.
Yeah. So you guys do an amazing job. But just, you know, but like, yeah, if you check out these things, you might get something, but not as much as you have been providing. But yeah, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
I appreciate, brother. Learning from each other. Thank you so much, and for the donation you've done today. God bless, man. And please come, come hang out a lot.
Okay, I will do that. I will do that. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. All the best. Okay?
I appreciate.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Yes, people. Wow. Even my camera is stopped, so I had to change to another camera right here. I'm using my computer camera. Well, man, I don't know what to say, guys. Everybody that has joined here today and share opinions, and I believe you guys are there listening and actually taking notes. I love learning from you guys and education. But I mean, Ezra, he mentioned it very right, because when you're doing these things, sometimes you might focus on what you're lacking. I'm not journalist. I never started about journalists. I'm economist. That's what I started, right? But everybody that I had, and this is the beauty to have family, to have one Africa, because people that we had here today sharing their experience, sharing their ideas. We had a lot of expertise here. We had a Dr. Sadeki, we had a Kuru, and now we had Ezra as well. It's amazing. These are different people with different knowledge, and all these are Africans. Africans right here. You guys, you see how Africans are blessed? You see how Africans were blessed? This is Africa. Africa.
Right here. All right. Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Let me reduce. This is not okay. Can you hear me now, guys? All right. Yeah. So we spoke about so many things today, guys. You guys can go back and check it out and share your opinions in the comment section. Not only that, here, this is what I say, that, what topics do you want us to talk about? So you can leave your comments, your suggestions, guys, in the comment section of this live stream, not the live one, but the normal one, so that I will go through another time. And when we come back tomorrow, we can know what we're going to talk about. I hope I'll be coming here tomorrow. Hopefully But I'll let you guys know through my Instagram and through Twitter as well. You can stay connected with me right there. I'll let you know, guys. This is what we're basically talking about. It was the foundation of all the discussion that we're talking about. What does it mean for you to be an African? And we spoke about so many things. We spoke about AIDS and all those kind of things, and you know what it does to us as well. So I hope you guys, you can go back and check it out, what we're talking about. Yes, Monas, I think this is something very important. You know, whenever we want to be divided, there are a lot of people who wants us to be, you know, they don't want us to be independent, and they don't want us to be united. But our message here is love, peace, and unity. That, hey, it's possible to love one another, to have peace, and to have unity. And it's possible to be independent. It is possible. It is possible. Nothing is impossible under the sun. I think we have to change this mentality that we cannot do this, we cannot do this, we cannot do this. We have to change that mentality and start speaking positive that we can do this. Because you know what? God is with us. God is with Africa. A lot of people, they want bad for Africa, but you know what? It's never going to happen because God is standing with Africa. It's God's favorite continent. No offense to other continents, but God loves your continent too. Yeah, so yeah. Guys, I really appreciate for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Stay connected with me. You can follow me on Instagram, Mika Chavala. I'm using the same name on Facebook, on Twitter as well. And also we have Swahili Nation on Twitter as well. One Swahili Nation on Instagram as well. So you can stay connected with us. You know, for all of those things to just know every time when you're coming live like this, and we have different things we're doing, you know. I think this will be the last comment I'll read for today. I say, I love all the African. May all the, I don't know what's name, heard, because I don't have shame in Africa. Guys, wake up. I believe you meant guys. Wake up. We are together. You will come, guys. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, I really appreciate for stopping by here today. I want to come back tomorrow for One Africa Forum, Season 2, Day 3. And you guys can suggest topics in the comment section. And it's not just about me, guys. You're African. So let's come and share ideas and take this thing to the next level. So share your opinions. You can go to Community tab. I don't know if you guys know Community tab. Let me show you. Community tab, if you go on YouTube, there's a Community tab. Like if you go on YouTube, there's a Community tab right here. And if you go there, I always post different updates there, or on Instagram, or on Twitter. You can go there, stay connected, and share your opinion, share the topics you want us to talk about, and I'll be coming back to talk about them, you know, and then we take from there to another place. All right, guys, I love you. Always don't forget to love one another and spread peace wherever you are. Where I am right now is 3:52 a.m. It's almost 4 a.m. I will go to sleep finally. And you guys, please, if you join right now, please go back and you can check from the beginning. You get to see what we are talking about. I love you guys, and I will see you another time soon. Bye-bye.